Today's first period on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Honda. Start something special with a great deal on a Honda. By Rothman Institute at Jefferson, exclusive orthopedic and healthcare provider of the Philadelphia Flyers. And by your local Chevy dealers.
For your service and dedication to our country. This week, a respected gentleman, leader, and one of the greatest ambassadors our game has ever known was lost. At this time, please join us in observing a moment of silence for former player, executive, and true emblem of class in our sport and beyond, Mr. Jean Beliveau. Thank you. And now, here to perform the national anthem, please welcome Nicole Lamott.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole Lamott.
Just about ready to go here in Los Angeles, a building the Flyers have played very well, the Staples Center. They are 7-1 in this building. And they are hoping to figure out a way to get 2 points out of the game here this afternoon.
Let's take a look at the Kia starting goaltender. Steve Mason back in goal for Craig Berube and the Philadelphia Flyers. He will go up against one of the best in the game, Jonathan Quick, two-time Stanley Cup champion. You can see his record, his home record, even more impressive than that. And the Flyers have a big challenge here in LA against a team that's solid throughout the lineup, has a lot of star talent, and their goaltender is a superstar.
Steve Mason at the other end. There's Jonathan Quick. Particularly good in this building, but really good anywhere, and key part of their double Stanley Cups. The Kings have been very, very consistent. They've, as far as keeping their players, 15 of them have won the 2 cups, so they have not changed. In fact, Wayne Simmons still has several former teammates on this team, even though, of course, he left now 3 years ago. Flyers in their road whites as we're underway. The dark home uniforms for the Kings. You look at the Flyer line combinations at the top of your screen. Here's Wayne Simmons with the puck. They'll pump it deep into the Los Angeles zone. Drew Doughty marking Braden Shen. Shen tipped the puck, and then the shot went wide and all the way out through center and down the ice.
Right idea there for Wayne Simmons, just getting that offensive red line, getting the puck in deep, allowing Shen to get to that loose puck. Lawton was there trying to create traffic. This is what the Flyers don't want to do, ice the puck. They want to make sure they gain that red line and make plays in the offensive zone.
Kings combinations and defense pairs to follow at the top of your screen. There is Wayne Simmonds, 2 goals in Anaheim, and I asked him yesterday at practice to still get a little extra jump to play the Kings. He goes, nah, old hat now. It's been long enough. He's still friends with several of the players, Drew Doughty in particular, but he said it's all about getting the win. Now the battle for the puck in the Philadelphia zone. Alec Martinez able to backhand it, but the Flyers do move it to center ice. Now played back along the boards by the Kings before being pumped into the zone by Giroux. Robin Regehr, the veteran defenseman, is back to get to it. He'll move it up the right wing boards. It's Grossman to it in center, and he'll chop it right back in. Voracek after the puck, but the Kings have it instead. Here's the former Flyer Justin Williams twisting it into the Philadelphia zone. Another former Flyer Mike Richards after the puck with Sean Couturier, but it's Couturier playing it up the boards, and out to center it goes, and moving it through center. Voracek at the end of his shift, so he'll just tip it into the Los Angeles zone and go off on a change. Kings have it back, and that Green's pass too far for Richards. It's gobbled up by Mark Streit. Moves it off the stick of Reed into the Los Angeles zone. R.J. Umberger trying to get to it. He and Matt Green collide in the corner. Now Umberger moving the puck to Reed for a shot that's blocked by Braden McNabb, the former Buffalo Sabre. And now the puck out to center. Michael Del Zotto back in the lineup after missing a couple for the Flyers. As Luke Schenn, a healthy scratch here this afternoon. That cross-ice pass makes its way through to Andrew McDonald. And he'll fling into the Los Angeles zone. Both teams making player changes as we approach the 2-minute mark. Glad you could join us on Comcast Sportsnet for the Flyers and the Kings. It's officially game 4 of this 5-game road trip for the Flyers in their 3rd and final game here in the state of California. The puck to the line. Kyle Clifford keeps it in and sends it back around. Mason could not cut it off. Lewis gets it back out to Doughty. Doughty with a pass down low. Turning with it is Nolan. Nolan with a nice little maneuver, and then he flips the puck to Doughty. Doughty's shot or pass goes off a stick and out of play. Let's take a look at those scratches. We already told you about Luke Schenn back out. By the way, Ryan White with the team and skating 2 weeks away, perhaps, from getting into the lineup with the Flyers. Vinny Lecavalier once again a scratch. Slava Voinov out, of course, on suspension. Aaron Gaborik, a lower body injury, as he's had to deal with a couple injuries already this year.
You have to wonder if the Gaborik's absence has a lot to do with the slow start for Anze Kopitar this year. Those two looked tremendous last year and helped the LA Kings win yet another Stanley Cup. Gaborik, an addition that made Dean Lombardi look real good coming over and lighting it up offensively in the playoffs.
And to have instant chemistry there. There's Grossman. The wall kept in by Martinez, who was a big part of those wins as well, with some overtime goals, including the cup clincher. Lewis around behind the Philadelphia net, but there's Claude Giroux. Moving it ahead, there are some Flyer fans trying to "Let's go Flyers" chant here, and the Los Angeles fans not liking that. Could make for some interesting by-play in the stands as well as on the ice here this afternoon.
It's been going on all trip.
Yes.
San Jose and Anaheim also. Flyers fans have certainly come out in droves, getting a chance to see their team and trying to cheer them on to victory here today.
Yeah, Flyer fans are going to be at a game. They're going to make noise. Let's head downstairs now. Ice level. Bring in Chris Therien.
Thanks very much, JJ. You know, when you talk about the LA Kings, you talk about Jonathan Quick, maybe Mike Richards and Jeff Carter, former Flyers. For a lot of people here, though, it's Drew Doughty who's the real catalyst on this team. He's their best player, 2nd in the league in overall ice time, you'll see, with that 28-43. Maybe down on points a little bit this year, guys, but he is the guy that makes it tick here in LA. He's done a great job.
He's averaging over 30 minutes a game here in the month, the early part of December, playing a lot. Have, of course, Voinov out. They lost William Mitchell during the offseason, so Doughty taking on even more of a responsibility. And the Kings get to the puck here, move it to the middle. Here's Kopitar picking up speed through center. Carter for the shot, and that one deflected and went out of play. Al Sutter, the head coach of the Kings, done such a great job. And he is a no-nonsense coach.
Unbelievable in interviews. The players will run to the locker room TV to make sure they get a chance to watch his post-game interviews. He is a classic behind the bench and a terrific motivator. And you can see how involved he is right here on the bench, even counting up to 5 there, letting them know who's out in the ice for the LA Kings.
Craig Berube played for him in Calgary and came away very impressed with him as a head coach. So he does try to take some things he learned from Sutter and apply it now. He's a head coach in the National Hockey League. Kings get to the puck here. Tyler Pearson trying to set it, but that's blocked off by McDonald. He's back into the quarter. And now back out of the point for a shot that went wide as McNabb fired toward the net. Braden Shen, who had the overtime game winner when these teams played in Philadelphia, did not maneuver that puck through the Kings. It's Kopitar to Carter. Jeff Carter was on that 70s line when these teams met in that game in Philadelphia, but that's been broken up now, and he's playing with Kopitar as the Kings have had their ups and downs offensively in the early season. It seems as though they had that struggle during the regular season, and then the playoffs come around and they suddenly start scoring goals.
Yeah, they're not a team to worry about the points as individuals. They just play that game, a team game. And right now, this has been their best line of late. Dustin Brown out there with Jared Stoll and Justin Williams, and seems to go in waves for the LA Kings.
Here is Giroux dropping it off, straight joining the rush, back into the slot. Giroux shot, he scores! The give and go to perfection, and Claude Giroux beats Quick, and the Flyers have a 1-0 lead. Claude Giroux, the captain, scores for a case of Tasty Cake.
Exactly what Craig Berube was looking for from Mark Streit and Michael Del Zotto. He wanted the defenseman to join the rush. He didn't want them to lead the rush, and exactly what happens here. Streit jumps in, he joins, and finds Giroux after a nice drop pass from Giroux. It ends up being a give-and-go play, and Giroux with a terrific finish.
Yeah, great play by Giroux, too. Just going in the middle, right between the hash marks where you're going to score a lot of goals. And as you said, Jones, yeah, beautiful play by Streit, jumping in late, making that play happen. Great goal.
Claude Giroux continues to pile up the points, and the Flyers, for the third time here in these games in California, have the game's first goal. They have not scored the first goal in a road game until they got to California, and now they've done it 3 consecutive games. And they certainly want to play from in front against this Kings team. Kings, when you get behind them, they're that much more difficult. They could really shut it down with the bigger teams in the NHL. They outweigh the Flyers on average by 10 pounds a man. They are a big club. There's Toffoli getting the puck into the Philadelphia zone. Couturier shielding the puck, and the Flyers get to it. Turning with it is Umberger into the middle. Braden Coburn now dancing to center, but offside went Couturier.
Well, you can celebrate the season, enjoy a ticket plus a Flyers Ugly Sweater t-shirt, all starting at $50, available for the upcoming December games against New Jersey, Tampa Bay, and Florida. Snag a ticket and this holiday t-shirt online at PhiladelphiaFlyers.com. Tis the season to grab yourself an ugly sweater.
You have any ugly sweaters in your closet?
I'm sure I have a couple, but I don't bring them out very often.
Jonesy's got plenty of them.
We got to see one before the holiday season gets beyond us.
Why not?
Mason bats that shot away from Trevor Lewis. And now we gear back around behind the net. Kings pursuing. Richards trying to go cross ice. Simmons will intercept. And he was traded for. Will load it in. Shen goes into the boards awkwardly for the Flyers. Braden Shen. Shen out. Braden Shen might have damaged his skate. Just trying to make his way to the bench basically on one leg. He doesn't appear to be in pain. I think it's a skate issue, but we'll make sure once we watch him as he gets to the bench.
See who he goes to, the equipment guy or the trainer. Looks like it's Settlemeyer, so it is a skate plate.
McDonald trying to keep Kopitar away from the net. Center iceman drops it off. Del Zotto checked by Carter. Pearson now trying to move it back to the point. It's kept in by Jake Muzzin. And here's Carter with it. Jeff Carter to Kopitar, centering it for Pearson. Good job by the Flyers to converge and knock the puck away, and Giroux will move to the red line and send it into the LA zone. Quick turned it over. Raffle quickly to it. We'll throw it around into the corner. Giroux trying to get there, but it's moved ahead. And the Kings move to center ice. Here's Doughty into the middle. Kopitar. Kopitar wrist shot. Save. Mason left the rebound right out in front. Kopitar got his stick on it, but could not control it. And now it's Clifford with a shot. It's blocked. Bounces to Giroux, and the Flyers will try to get organized and move up. Grossman having a little difficulty. He'll pay for it as Clifford runs into him. And now the Flyers will move it ahead. Voracek, though, is run at by Lewis, and the Kings get it back. 7 minutes in, first period. Just 3 shots on goal, 2 for the Kings, 1 for the Flyers, but the Flyers shot found the net. So they have the lead where it counts. Green checked. There's Nolan, son of Ted Nolan, the coach of the Sabres. Physical contact there with Ronaldo. Clifford, Grossman joining in the fun as well. Now back it goes through Green out to the neutral zone. Green will go across ice to McNabb. They'll just flip it ahead. Flyers able to get to it as they're pursuing the puck very well here in the early going in Los Angeles. A major scrum here for a loose puck, and finally it's the Kings getting it. McNabb dropping it back to Martinez. McNabb ahead. Lewis looking for Dustin Brown, who had a big night. Their win in Arizona the other night. 2 goals and an assist for Brown, who had been struggling but starting to find his offensive game. And they scramble for the puck again. It is McDonald run at by Brown, who's the active leader in hits in the NHL. Not as active this year in the hits department, but the last decade, no forward is throwing his weight around more frequently than Dustin Brown.
Team kind of follows his lead here in LA. Whether he's scoring or not, he contributes in a lot of different ways, and kind of the personality of the LA Kings, a lot of it flows through Dustin Brown.
Matt Reed, the left wing feed for Couturier. Back to Reed. The gear on him. Hamburger comes in with good support. Got that puck back to Schultz for a shot, and a save by Quick. Puck bounces high in the air, stays in play. Williams will drop it back for Martinez. Now it's Regier, now 34 years of age. And Dustin Brown will sift that one through the traffic and get it deep into the Philadelphia zone. Coburn after it, bounces ahead to Simmons. And now Scott Laughton, assist in each of his last 2 games. Plays it in and follows in. The hit from Derek King, the White Key I should say, but the Kings get the puck and move it out, and here's Richards. Richards gaining the line, holding on, and trying to move that puck through to King, but he could not come up with it. He's checked by Grossman. And now it bounces back out, and Laughton trying to scoop it out of the zone, could not get it past Toffoli. Toffoli down low, King. King holding on, waiting, firing off the side of the net. Grossman will get to it. Now it's Laughton again, but he could not come up with it. It's Toffoli checked. Good work there by Braden Shannon. The Flyers get it to the line, but then run into one another, and King ends up with the puck. King with a pass into the slot, the shot, and Mason fought off that bid by Kopitar, and it went out of play. Chances for the Kings there, but it's Claude Giroux who has the only goal of the early going. His 8th of the year as the Flyers on top.
Flyers up 1-0 early here. Claude Giroux picked up the goal. Braden Shen on the bench there. Number 10 in white is going to collide with his teammate Wayne Simmons at the blue line. And Andrei Kopitar is going to sneak in. Steve Mason comes up with a big save. A timely save after the collision at the blue line. And you need your goaltender to come up with him. Mason has an answer for Kopitar right there.
Steve Mason, a couple shutouts on his resume against this Kings club. He's seen 4 shots thus far. He's had a little trouble with rebound control, but he has made the saves. Flyers with 2 shots the other way, and one of those beat Jonathan Quick. Flyers get control. Reed stopped just as he got to center ice. It's moved ahead. Hamburger reaching for it, but it's twisted out to the neutral zone before being hammered back in by the Flyers. Couturier lost his stick as he threw a check there, and a penalty is coming up. Justin St. Pierre and Tom Cowell are your referees here. The Flyers are going to be shorthanded. Check out the CSN Philly mobile app. Get breaking news and analysis from our insiders, plus video, scores, schedules, and more. Visit csnphilly.com/app and download today.
Matt Reed in the box for tripping there in the offensive zone as Braden McNabb was trying to skate up with the puck. You can see the puck battle there, and there's Reed's stick that gets, well, maybe it's his foot that catches him, or he catches a rut.
I think it was a phantom.
It looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a phantom. No foot at all. Good dive.
They're calling it tripping. Kings with the first power play of the game. There are the season numbers. Flyers still at the bottom of the NHL on the penalty kill. The Kings middle of the road with the power play. They'll go 2 for 3 Thursday. There's a shot, the save made by Mason. A juggling stop, and he'll hang on.
Jeff Carter with that quick release there, and Mason in perfect position with a couple of big bodies in front of him. Pearson and Kopitar were set up there.
They're 2 for 14. As I said, they went 2 for 3 the other night. They were 0 for 11 in their previous 4 before that, as you do the math. But it is a power play that here at home has been much better than on the road for the Kings.
That's not a lot of opportunities either, fellas. It's 14 penalties in 5 games against them.
Jeff Carter settles in for this face-off against teammate Claude Giroux, and the Kings do not keep it in. Dowdy has to go back and play that in the neutral zone. Kopitar then breaks his stick trying to make a pass. We'll get a new stick on the bench. Stay right on the ice. Kings looking to get organized here.
Interesting, when Kopitar broke his stick, he still went in the same pattern that he normally follows in order to get back to the bench so the Kings would come up the ice together.
And they just picked up the stick on the fly right by the bench. Behind the net, there he is with the puck. He'll bank it back out to Dowdy. Dowdy across for Muzzin. He'll wind, he'll blast. It's deflected. It went wide. Might have broken the stick. Did break the stick of Andrew McDonald. Here's Dowdy, a shot. That's blocked in front. So McDonald without a stick right now. Here's Carter working on it. Down low. Pearson around behind the net. McDonald now has the stick as the forward gave up his stick. That's Lawton. So now Lawton without a stick for the Flyers, and they're shorthanded. Dowdy, the cross ice pass. Now back across. Good play by McDonald. Using that stick to deflect that pass away, and the shot by Muzzin goes wide. Now it's Carter. Holding on, waiting. Carter now gets it back out to Muzzin. Across it goes Dowdy. Dowdy around Lawton. Back out Muzzin. The shot. And it hit something in front. Sat there and then it's swatted wide. I was trying to clear. They need to clear badly, but Ruffle could not get it out. It's kept in. There's Carter with a shot. Blocked. And now Lawton, who has a stick, will tip it and play it all the way down. The Flyers survive. What was an adventurous shift right there.
Andrew McDonald putting on a shot blocking clinic. 4 blocked shots there as the LA Kings were trying to pepper around Steve Mason. McDonald does a terrific job with some help from Lawton, who exchanged his stick with him later.
The Flyers survive that Los Angeles power play. Now move up. Here is Reed. Reed with a shot. The save made by Quick, and he will cover up. Flyers with a 1-0 lead here in LA. 1-0 Flyers, 7:51 to go here in Los Angeles. The Observatory. So much to see here in the LA area.
A lot of shot blocking to see by that guy.
He got credit for 2, but I think we saw more than that.
There was, and a good defensive play once he got his stick from Scott Lawton. Lawton, the forward, alertly getting a stick to the defenseman who had broken his. It was Andrew McDonald. McDonald used his stick on a couple different occasions, and you can see the hockey sense of Lawton once again coming to the forefront. A couple assists for Scott Lawton, and 1 in each of the last 2 games, so he's starting to get some offensive confidence.
The face-off, Flyers control. Here is Strite flipping one. It goes well wide. Delzato racing in from the point. Came together with Justin Williams. Ruffle got the puck around behind the net. Voracek was dumped. Gets back up and now has the puck. Voracek into the high slot. Strite lost control, and it bounces over Delzato's stick to the neutral zone. Delzato gets it back, finds Strite, and then off the stick of Giroux into the Los Angeles zone. Ruffle peels back on a change. Voracek heading to the bench as well. Giroux still out on the ice. There's Regehr ahead. Dustin Brown's pass is tipped. Does make its way ahead to the Philadelphia line, but Strite is there across to Delzato, and then ahead into center. Lawton was checked. It bounces back to Delzato. And he'll chop it ahead in the neutral zone, and now Schenn will scoop one deep to Los Angeles ice. Down to 7 minutes remaining in this first period. Some more contact in the corner. Simmons was involved, but the Kings have the puck. Clifford will backhand, and they did not get it out initially, but now the puck does squeeze out to center. They back in, and McNabb will go across ice to Martinez. Stopped by Nick Schultz. Numbers for the Flyers. Simmons moving up. Simmons holding on. He waits. He fires, and he missed it. Bounces all the way up the wall. Coburn is knocked down as the puck is down into Philadelphia ice, and there is Nick Schultz. Flyers nearly had too many men on the ice, then had too few men on the ice, but they live to tell about it. Here's Coburn ahead. A couple players jumped on, looked at each other, and both jumped off.
It's a good decision to jump back off and not take that chance. We've seen that hurt the Flyers a couple of times earlier this year.
For sure. Richards to King. King into the corner. Trying to get it back to Richards, but Delzato would have none of that, but his pass missing Ronaldo, and it goes all the way down, icing the call against Philadelphia.
Well, you can give an up-close and personal holiday gift with autographed photo combo tickets to the Flyers Wives Carnival. Choose from Voracek, Simmons, and Flyers goalies Hextall, Perrant, Mason, and Emery at PhiladelphiaFlyers.com/carnival. Always a terrific time and a great opportunity to get up close and personal with some of the star players of today and the past.
All for a great cause. Draw here to the right of Mason. There's fourth line out on the ice. Zotto will bank it ahead, but did not get it out of the zone. Mason get it back to Del Zotto. He throws it right into the middle. Turnover to Richards, who lays it off, but out of the reach of McNabb. McNabb does eventually take a shot, blocked at the side of the net, and now the Flyers get it back. Fidelity will put it ahead to Reed, and he'll just get it to the Los Angeles line. Green takes over there. Solid defenseman back across to McNabb. And heads through center all the way down into the Philadelphia zone. Grossman from Matt Reed. Reed diagonally into the Los Angeles end. Martinez bumped by Umberger. Put the puck ahead to Pearson. The leading rookie scores in the NHL. And Pearson one-hands the puck deep. Goes after strike. Puck skips ahead, and the Flyers move it ahead. And Sean Couturier, who will turn 22 tomorrow, gets it ahead to Umberger for the shot. The save by Quick as he flashed the pad out. The gears pass, tipped by Reed, bounces ahead to strike. And now Couturier surging in on the right wing, stops in the shot. And save by Quick. Had a little trouble locating it, but gets the face-off. We'll be back.
Flyers up 1-0 here. Andrew McDonald doing a nice job during the LA Kings power play. He's got that good stick position there. He blocks a shot here, breaks his stick in half. And then Scott Laughton alertly comes back. 49 and White passes his stick over. McDonald's able to battle with Kopitar a little bit, make a nice poke check attempt, and stays in good solid defensive position, helping out his team there. Looked like that one rattled off the side of his body, and you can see what Andrew McDonald is all about. There's his bio, 7th NHL season, and that experience coming in handy there as the Flyers were down a man. McDonald came up with some big plays.
He missed a lot of time with that injury, just getting himself back now to where he's feeling like he's in rhythm. Kings get the puck back into the Philadelphia zone, bounces free, and the Flyers moving up 3-on-3 to center. Voracek will go across ice, looking for Schultz, who's up on the play. He was checked by Carter. The puck will roll ahead Pearson, forced by Coburn. And now it's Voracek trying to go cross ice to the point, but it's knocked away, and Schultz will play it in the neutral zone. Right back in, rink wide feed, Voracek. Trouble handling that puck again, and just backhand it to the other corner. Kopitar's there, steering it ahead and out to center. 4:15 remaining in this first period. Shots are 7-5 in favor of the Kings. Goals are 1-0 in favor of the Flyers. Laughton is deposited on the ice by Jake Muzzin. And then Simmons forces the puck free momentarily behind the net. Muzzin back on it. Ahead, and now Brown will steer it across ice. Racing over Del Zotto, and he bangs it into the Los Angeles zone. Doughty to Muzzin. These two have become quite a pair here. That pass knocked down, but not controlled by the Flyers, as showing plenty of energy right there was Bellemare. He just couldn't come up with the puck. There's McDonald across. Zotto right back to McDonald. And now ahead off the stick with Bellemare, but it's going to be icing as he was on his side of the red line.
Let's take a look at our Chevy player profile. That is none other than Jonathan Quick, the American from Milford, Connecticut. And you can see his numbers right there, guys. He's done a lot of everything in his career the last couple of years. 2 Stanley Cups and a fiery competitor as well. You got to look at him back in Philadelphia. That was at the end of the game, breaking his stick after he saw the puck going in. Got a misconduct after the Flyers won that game. Flyers got under his skin that night and into his kitchen a little bit too.
Well, you remember that was the game-winning goal in overtime that went for review, and they were in the Flyers' favor. You could certainly tell by Quick's reaction alone. He was not happy. You want your goaltender to be emotional and want to win a lot, and the game was over, so good display. It's not as though he's losing his cool while the game's still going. There's a save in tight there, and the volley from the point by Strike. Flyers trying to redirect that and then get to the rebound. Grossman across. Strite has it. There's that pass ahead. Voracek manages to control it. Got it to Giroux, but he was tightly marked. Now Raffl trying to get it back down to Voracek, but Clifford intercepts. No one over to get to it. Ahead for Clifford, and deep into the Philadelphia zone it goes. Strike forced by Clifford. Back to Grossman. Nice little pass to Giroux, and ahead just out of the reach of Voracek. They gear back to the Philadelphia end. And it's Strite right back out. Raffl will clear it in. Giroux chasing with Regehr. They nullify each other, and it's Martinez getting to it just side an extension. He's up the puck here. Coburn shot deflected, but it goes wide. Martinez after it ahead. Nolan reaching for it. Reed tying him up. Giroux. Backhand's a little deeper, but the Kings have it, and now Martinez will rush to center. Now Martinez will float one deep into the Philadelphia zone as the Kings will change players. 2 minutes remaining in this first period. Couturier backhands into the Los Angeles zone. Muzzin back. Bodied by Umberger. He didn't see the puck behind him. Richards is there to play. Former Flyers captain got it ahead. Now he's after it again. Flyers, good job to seal that off as Couturier to Reed around to the other side of the ice. Racing in is McDonald. And King come together. Two other players as well. Two Flyers go down. The puck is in their skates. And it pops free and then out to the neutral zone. Right there is Del Zotto. Zotto trying to get away. Foley did, and this pass is to Simmons, who spins and now carries, and he's all by himself for the moment. Around behind the net. Simmons taken down. Penalty coming up. Here is Schenn. Schenn back to Grossman. He drops it off for a strike. Empty net now. Extra attacker for the Flyers. King got his stick in there to play the puck, and there's the whistle. So the Flyers will get their first power play of the game. Let's first look at our Jeep trivia question of the afternoon. And what is the NHL record for most games played in a season? Held by two former Kings. 82, 84, or 86 games. Maybe one of those guys did it. It wasn't Vachon. It wasn't Ogie Vachon. Goalie didn't play.
No doubt.
McNabb hits the penalty here for the Kings.
Wayne Simmons draws it, uses that speed wide like he did against the Anaheim Ducks in scoring one of his 2 goals. And he's got a lot more jump in his step, especially after picking up that first goal against Anaheim.
Giroux wins the draw. Voracek to the puck. Flyers for a late goal after getting a relatively early goal here in the period. Right. Voracek. Jake Adelante cleanly. Now he just pokes it for Simmons. Flyers do recapture the puck to get it back out to Strike. And now Voracek. The quick shot save. Rebound. And it was tipped away from Schenn and cleared all the way down by the Kings.
Right idea. Traffic was in place, and the shot got through to the net. Jonathan Quick with a save, and then the rebound opportunity. It's the LA Kings that come up with.
Giroux takes the pass in center. Right wing dish for Voracek. Voracek tied up. He tucked it into the corner, but Green first to it. And to get away from Schenn, he set it ahead to Pearson. 25 seconds in the period. Pearson working against Strike. Holds into the corner, and then Voracek comes in. The Flyers outnumbering the opposition as they should, but they're having trouble getting the puck away. And a very determined Pearson. Good look by the King there to waste time off the power play clock. And we're down to just 6 seconds remaining in the period now. Strike running one all the way down wide of Quick. That's icing with 0.6 of a second remaining here in the period.
Mark Streit making the right decision there, just holding on to that puck in the last few seconds. There's not enough time here for LA to get a scoring chance, so Daryl Sutter decides he's going to take his time, sending his guys out. Wayne Simmons will stay out, of course, on the icing. The Flyers forced to keep the same guys out there. But a pretty good period overall as the Flyers up to 1-0.
Carter will try to shoot right off the draw here. Giroux just trying to nullify his stick. Puck was never dropped, but the horn sounds ending the period.
Might as well.
I think we'll do that over again, folks. Somebody here at Staples Center's in a hurry.
Everybody's got up and headed to the concessions right now.
It was such a bluff by the linesman that he got even the scorekeeper. Now the puck is dropped, and there's the horn ending period number 1. So Claude Giroux gets the Flyers on the board. They take a lead to the intermission. It's 1-0 Flyers after 20 minutes. Today's Flyers Kings first period was brought to you by Kia. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Papa John's. The day after the Flyers win and score 3 or more goals, get 50% off your online order using promo code FLYERS at papajohns.com. Shots were even at 7 in that first period. Flyers get the only goal, though. Chris Therien is with that goal scorer, Claude Giroux.
Where's our camera here?
Claude, you guys had the kind of start I think your team wanted. Tell us exactly what happened on that goal. It seemed like a good play going to the front of that net.
Yeah, anytime our D joined the rush, we have some chances, and Mark's pretty good at seeing other players, so that was a nice pass by him.
You guys right now, a situation with LA. What is the one thing right now you'd like to do better moving forward the last 40 minutes of this game against this LA team?
Well, we know they're a strong team. They play pretty physical. I think if we move our feet a little bit better, we'll have more chances.
Thanks very much, Cole. Good luck.
16 points in his last 15 games. Claude Giroux has the Flyers on top. Intermission live. We'll see Mercedes-Benz comes your way next. John Bork and Emil Getty after this. Today's second period from Los Angeles is brought to you by your local Delaware Valley Audi dealers and a legendary Audi Quattro all-wheel drive. The world's top-selling luxury all-wheel drive system. And by McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Nothing Flyers after one period of play. Let's look at the stats brought to you by Rothman Institute at Jefferson.
7 shots on goal for each team. The Flyers, 7 different players with a shot on goal, including the one by Claude Giroux that found the back of the net on a nice feed from Mark Streit. There it is right there. Giroux picks it up. 8th of the season, and Streit and Grossman get assists.
GMC NHL updates. St. Louis and the Islanders jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Martin Brodeur came on in relief for the Blues. They came back, tied it at 4, and Paul Stastny right there with a game-winning goal. They get another one on their way to a 6-4 win, and so Martin Brodeur adds a win as a St. Louis Blues to his resume after all those wins as a New Jersey Devil.
He's played there on Long Island a few times.
Yeah.
Had a few wins in his past.
Giroux and Simmons get themselves ready for this second period. Flyers still with some power play time to work with as this second stanza commences. And they like to take advantage of that. 50 seconds remaining on the penalty to McNabb. And they'll send the puck in. Braden Schenn gets in the way of the clearing attempt by Doughty, but then Regeer is there to send it the length of the ice. Flyers good record when leading after one. The Kings do have a couple of wins coming from behind when trailing after one, but the Kings are nearly unbeatable when they score first or lead at any intermission. So the Flyers have done well to at least get the early leader. Giroux has his stick slash. It's a penalty. Delayed call against Los Angeles. Flyers should give up the puck here. Streit will take the shot. It's blocked by Stoll. Braden Schenn then does the smart thing, gives the puck to Doughty, so the Flyers will get some 2-man advantage time, but only 12 seconds left on McNabb's minor, but another penalty here against the Kings.
Good decision there by Braden Schenn. Giroux was quick to go over the bench to grab another stick. Jared Stoll, one of the better face-off men for the LA Kings, will be in the box for this important defensive zone face-off, and the Flyers will have that 2-man advantage for 12 seconds. It's an important draw here for Braden Schenn to step in and go up against Andrei Kopitar.
Right call too there up on that by the referee too. Tough call to make sometimes, but it is the right call. Stick breaks in half. Flyers will want to try to bear down here for this draw. Huge draw, as you said, Jonesy.
Schenn against Kopitar. Schenn goes to one knee, then Simmons is hauled down. And that play works as Green clears the zone. Simmons hauled down, and that's why the Kings were able to clear.
Tough to get that call for the 3rd penalty in a row.
Yeah, but well, it certainly was a key play. Now here's Giroux moving up. Giroux pass across to Flex. Simmons a whack at it, then he gets buried in the slot. The puck back to Streit at the point. And now it's Giroux as it's now 5-on-4. Giroux back out right to the line, and they say it snuck out to center, brought back in offside.
Linesman in perfect position there, down low. He stared right at it, so we'll have to anticipate he was right on that one. This one was not right. As you can see, Simmons gets taken down by Matt Green, and as Chris was talking about, a couple of penalties in a row for the LA Kings, and referee chooses to look the other way on that one, but it's clearly a penalty and allowed the Kings to get the puck out of the zone after a nice face-off win by Braden Schenn.
On a 5-on-3.
Yeah.
So it's a key play. It's a long distance shot in on Mason. And now Del Zotto for the Flyers. They had to do McDonald's power play payoff contested. Flyers move up. Get in, Del Zotto. Now behind the net, Umberger is checked, but the Flyers are there, and Reed will go back up the wall to Couturier. Second unit out now. Del Zotto to Couturier. Cross ice. Now right back to Del Zotto. And now it's McDonald dealing to Couturier. Reed in the slot. Umberger turning, got the shot off the save. Quick, and the rebound cleared.
Umberger continuing to make some really good decisions in the offensive zone. He's played much better of late since being dropped down in the lineup for one game, or at least a couple of periods for San Jose, and he's been quick to jump back in there and start to make some plays.
Couturier stepping in, deals to Simmons. Simmons the shot, quick, could not make the save. It snuck through, he scores. Wayne Simmons against his former team, and the Flyers take a 2-0 lead. Simmons, not just enough on that, as Quick certainly got a piece of it. But Sutter watches now as his team is down 2 goals. Simmons scores for a case of Tasty Cake.
You think back to the non-call on Matt Green. It was on Simmons, but he just keeps with it, continues to push forward, and doesn't sit around and sulk. He just gets out there and works his tail off. Picks up a goal there with a real nice move and getting through a couple of King defenders there. Outstanding hands, and a quick wrist shot beats Jonathan Quick.
Really good job here by Simmons. And again, had Schenn available, I think Quick was thinking maybe he'd go that way, but I think the shot was a better decision, and it obviously was. Good play by Simmons.
Team leading 11th goal of the year, his 6th power play goal. He's tied now with Claude Giroux for team leadership. Also tied for 5th in the NHL in power play goals. And the Flyers have a 2-goal advantage here in LA. With the road power play goal. There's now 4 for the last 7 on the power play. Williams tried to set her here, but it's intercepted by Lawton. He's hooked the penalty. Dustin Brown not happy, but he's going to go to the box. Ronaldo lost the puck at the Los Angeles line, takes a hit from Brown. He's going to try to get somebody to accompany him to the penalty box, but it's not going to happen. It'll be Brown alone, and the Flyers right back to the power play.
Kings a little sloppy with their stick work in this period. Daryl Sutter not happy at all, as you can see him shaking his head behind the Kings bench. It's the captain, Dustin Brown, this time that gets the stick up. And a little hook, that's all it takes there. One hand on the stick, it's under Lawton's arm and pulls Lawton down to the ice. And the Flyers head back to the power play.
Yeah, no-brainer right there. Again, that's a penalty. And Dustin Brown shaking his head, but his coach, Daryl Sutter, not happy at all with his LA Kings team to start this period.
Another McDonald's power play payoff contestant as the Kings in the draw and clear it all the way down. As we'll have the #1 unit out to start this power play. Voracek takes the puck. Voracek in. Voracek centering the shot. Quick got across. I'm not sure that was on net or not as Giroux flashed toward the net. But Quick so good at going cross crease.
Great energy and effort from Giroux in driving the net, and a heads-up play by Voracek. Giroux just couldn't get enough on that backdoor attempt.
Here's Schenn in the middle, intercepted by Toffoli, but he could not clear. Schenn will go across ice, and Giroux will get to it. Giroux back out to the point. Strike. Cross ice Voracek tried to go right back to Giroux. That was denied by Carter, who got it to the line, and now Toffoli will carry it further against Strider. Blast, and that's gloved by Mason, who will keep it in play to Voracek. 1:04 on the power play is Reed. The Flyers changing now to their second unit. And they've got the full complement out there now as Reed will move up. Matt Reed picking up speed and then winding it into the Kings zone. Couturier after it. Pushed it around behind. Martinez will try to clear it up the glass. McDonald could not keep it in. The Kings pick it ahead, and here's King. King of the Kings. He got it to Richards. Richards out to Martinez, and now King again will wind and fire and save off the mask of Mason. And the Flyers go the other way. There's McDonald from the red line sending it in. I'm sure Mason's okay there. That shot had plenty on it. There's Couturier. Gets it to the corner. Umberger will bank it back out to Del Zotto. And it's to Couturier. Couturier settling things. Gets it back from Umberger. 7 seconds is all that remains in the power play. Reed, a shot deflects. And save made by Quick, and then the rebound cleared high in the air. And Matt Green will set it up the wall, and Del Zotto will push back. Power play is over. Flyers are leading by 2. We hit the 5-minute mark of this second period. Had their chances.
They did. Matt Reed kind of fanned on that attempt, but it still was a dangerous play in and around the feet of Jonathan Quick. The Kings defense there to help out their goaltender.
Carter is stopped at the Flyer line. Now Lawton back the other way, looking for Ronaldo. He'll wind up in fire. Save. Quick big rebound. Kopitar is there. Ajay Kopitar. Moving ahead. Pearson across to Carter. Jeff Carter flings in from center. That's snared by Mason. He's going to hang right on to it.
Mason hitting that mask just moments ago on a big heavy shot from Dwight King. He leans into this one and blasts away, and watch where it catches Mason right there. Shook it off a little bit there, adjusted the mask, and
To think they didn't wear masks many years ago.
Ooh.
After seeing that right there, that's unbelievable. And you're right, Mason seems to be fine. A lot of protection now in these helmets and masks the goalies wear.
10 saves for Mason. Flyers have actually passed the Kings in shots for the game now, 11-10. Makes some part to their power play time. This is icing against Philadelphia.
well, give the gift of Flyers hockey with Santa Sack gift packs, including 2 tickets, an autographed puck, a Flyers calendar, 2 hot dogs, sodas, popcorn, and more, starting at $150. Shop online at PhiladelphiaFlyers.com and get your Santa Sack today.
Flyers in the middle of this 12-day road trip. The Flyers and staff people and broadcasters, it's going to be about an 8 or 9 day stretch where they have to get all their shopping done.
Yes.
In this next homestand, right?
They had lots of chances on this road trip to get some shopping done.
True. Just not enough room in the suitcase.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Little thing called internet now, guys.
Really?
Just came out with that.
Yeah.
You can actually buy things there?
Yes, apparently you can.
We're all too aware of that, I think. As the Kings try to press, but the Flyers come up with a puck here. Coburn at Manning. Ronaldo goes wide to the left wing, and then is stood up by Green. Omar trying to get into the forecheck. Vandeveldy as well. Puck squirts out into the slot, but the Kings jump on it. Pearson on the red line. Sends it into the left of Mason. Stoll trying to get there, but Grossman got in his way. Flyers with the edge and chances in this game. Straight is checked. Flyers recover. And moving it out to center is Ronaldo. It goes all the way down. He got too much on that, and icing is the call. Tonight at 7, watch the best moments from the Flyers Hall of Fame induction ceremonies for Eric Lindros and John LeClair. Plus, see if the players have game in the kitchen. The team serves up a meal at the Ronald McDonald House. Watch the Orange Line, presented by Bradford Whitewater Heaters on Comcast Sportsnet. Look who's here. That's Sajak. There's a shot by Martinez that's blocked. Tries again. Gets caught up in traffic. Never did make it on net. A broken stick. Another Flyer without a stick. Here's Regeer with the puck. Regeer, the backhand to Martinez. Martinez down low. It's left of the stick, getting in the way as Kopitar gets it back out to Martinez. He'll deal to Regeer. Will wind up and fire. Save. Mason rebound all the way out. And now whistle stopping play. We saw Vandeveldy without the stick, but there's a holding penalty on the Flyers, and we'll be back.
Flyers up 2-0 here. Wayne Simmonds with one of the 2 goals. He has started to pick it up offensively once again. Picked up 2 goals the other night against the Anaheim Ducks, and after he got the first one, he looked like a much more offensively confident player. Scores the late one there. A huge goal for the Flyers. Are able to get a point out of Anaheim, and here today they're looking for 2, and Simmonds finds a way to swoop into the offensive zone and get one past his old teammate Jonathan Quick. See the numbers for Simmonds continuing to start to move in the right direction.
For some reason, he seems to like scoring in the second period. 8 of his 11 goals in the second period. Right up near the top of the NHL in second period goal scoring. There is Mark Streit. Guilty of holding the stick, so the Kings get their second power play of the game. They try to get on the board. Off the draw, the Flyers control and clear. Coburn getting that puck all the way down the ice after the face-off win by Claude Giroux. Within the NHL has 1 more face-offs than Claude Giroux this year. Here's Doughty. To Muzzin, he'll wind it in. Mason could not cut it off. Couturier, though, with some good maneuvering along the wall. Ahead to Reed, and he'll finesse the puck deep into the Los Angeles zone. Jake Muzzin all the way back to hand off to Doughty. Already 30 seconds into the Kings power play. Not been able to get set up as yet. Kopitar, but way ahead of the play was Doughty. Things are offside here. Time for Grossman to turn with it and take his time before bouncing one all the way down in on Quick. Flyers penalty kill has had its issues on the road, but has been looking a little better of late. They still have allowed the odd goal here or there in the last 2 or 3 games, but no question has been better and certainly very good in this particular occasion.
And it's the time of the kill that really matters. And this is a huge kill right here. Had an earlier one in this game, and they were up 1-0, and LA had a chance to get some momentum back. And Andrew McDonough, who made that play, made a bunch of good defensive plays to kill off the first one.
45 seconds left on the strike minor. Here's Stoll moving back with it, and then moving it to Justin Williams, who will send it diagonally, and Doughty looking to get to it and does. All the way around behind, and then changing direction. Drew Doughty the circle, and then he'll change direction yet again, and his pass tipped by Raffl, who then jams it out to the neutral zone. Great work by Raffl.
And outstanding play by Michael Raffl, the way he mirrored the way that Doughty was moving around in the offensive zone, stayed with it, kept his stick in the passing lane, and eventually won the battle.
Williams got the puck in, but the Flyers get it right back out as Schultz clears. Final 8 seconds of this power play. Nab will lob one deep. Over the corner it goes. Out of the box comes Strike. Kings never really got set up on that power play. Outstanding penalty killing, and now Strike will send it into the Los Angeles zone. We approach the midpoint of regulation time. Flyers have a 2-0 lead. Here's Martinez ahead for Richards. Swarmed upon, and a penalty call.
Wow.
A hold spotted there.
Looks like Belmar is going to head to the penalty box here in the neutral zone. It was a bit of a bouncing puck there.
Craig Berube looks mystified too, looking at it. So is Belmar. Belmar almost not sure what he got here, and it happens here. Martinez moves the puck out. Belmar just gets a little arm on Richards. I'm not, again, Richards might have grabbed on there too, but 2 minutes again, LA back on the power play.
Giroux having words with the referee before he heads in for another important defensive zone face-off here.
So the first power play the Kings got was a phantom trip on Reed. And this one, maybe not phantom, but certainly called very closely. So the penalty killers again called upon. There's King spinning with it. No real options. Now it does get it back to Martinez, who blasts, but off the stick and wide. Grossman quickly to the wall. Martinez over, could not keep it in. Couturier will skate right with Martinez deep into the Los Angeles zone. Momentarily got the puck. Now Martinez has it. And he'll move up. Pass to King. Dropping it back. And Mike Richards scored against the Flyers back in Philadelphia. To Toffoli. And out to the point. Martinez across for Muzzin. Muzzin shot, and the save. Mason through the screen of King. And the Flyers trying to clear again along the wall, but it's kept in by Muzzin. He is checked right along the wall by Reed. Got it through and then takes it back. Muzzin across. Martinez the shot. Glove save. Mason. No further play.
Really good job by Steve Mason and looking past the screen of Tyler Toffoli. It's a high rising shot that Mason is able to track all the way into his glove. There's Martinez who fired it. And Martinez has continued to add his offensive numbers with Pat Sajak looking on behind Steve Mason. He had a great view of Mason's snare of the Martinez shot.
He didn't seem impressed, though.
No, he looks a little tired there. Spinning too many wheels lately. Yep.
It's an early Saturday game out here.
He's the man.
Here's Muzzin with room. Muzzin the shot. Wide perhaps off of Mason, then back out. And Kopitar will take it to the neutral zone. 45 seconds remain on this Los Angeles power play. Here's Kopitar revving it up through center. Right wing dish for Carter. Carter around behind the net. Makes it all the way out to Muzzin, who will wind up and blast. Raffl blocks it, and down he goes cross ice. The shot, and they missed it on his Carter from the angle, could not bury it. Now the shot by Doughty, and the save made by Mason. He'll hang on.
Terrific job by Mason in snaring that puck quickly. No rebound attempt. The Flyers were scrambling after Michael Raffl had lost his stick. And Jeff Carter with a chance from a tough angle is going to send this one through the goal crease right there as Mason gets across, moving post to post. There you can see the vision of Mason looking through the traffic and then sliding across there, making it more difficult on Carter, and the fans' reaction behind the net tells the story.
Getting busy now with these penalties. And he's been up to the task so far. Fires in that draw, but do not clear. It's Martinez. Williams a shot. Save Mason. And then Dustin Brown accentuates a couple times trying to draw a penalty. We'll see if it worked. I don't see the arm going up.
No, the refs know his act pretty good, and Brown is in there trying to stir the pot a little bit, trying to spark the LA Kings here.
Yeah, he is their leader, Jonesy, as you said. A guy that really does try to get under the other team's skin and does a good job of it. They do follow his lead. There's Carter's miss, too. Mason coming over, and Carter shooting wide. But again, there's great discouragement there by Mason with that hard effort. Fast feet moving across to make sure that puck didn't go into the back of the net.
Drop the puck to the left of Mason. And the Kings get it. McNabb to Martinez. And now Williams right back to McNabb. The shot! Got knocked down in front. The rebound side of the net. They could not get it back out in front as Mason closes it down. Brown frustrated.
The height of Steve Mason helps him a lot against a big team like the LA Kings. He's really battled in and around his crease area. He's done a real good job of looking past screens, even when his own defenseman's in front of him. Coburn with a nice block there, and then Mason quick to recover. You can see the work of Dustin Brown trying to battle for space in front. Coburn eventually blocks the shot there, and after a scramble, it's Mason to quickly get over and make sure there's not another rebound attempt.
Wait for the puck to be dropped. Flyers win the draw, but don't clear again. It's McNabb sending it in along for Stoll. Now Williams. Back for Stoll. Power play is over. Out of the box jumps Belmar. He's looking for the head-manning passer as Giroux moves up. Giroux instead will carry it in and give to Lawton. Lawton's shot is blocked by Martinez. And Grossman peels back, and the Kings are 4-on-3 to the neutral zone. Here's McNabb dealing on the left side. Down a shot. Save Mason as they had Williams right in on him, and there was contact, but no call. And moving back the other way is Braden Shen. In across the line. Shen wipes out. Still centers. Simmons could not handle. Now he centered for Lawton. Went off his stick. McNabb chopping it away. Simmons has it back. Wayne Simmons playing with supreme confidence again at Delzato, who fired it through the slot. And then went out the other side, and it's Brown lobbing one. The alley-oop play here for Nolan. Nolan will get to it deep into the Philadelphia zone. And play it back out. Green shot blocked by Simmons. Knocked away from him. Down. Lewis canceled. Nolan getting it back out to Green. Green wrist shot. That hit Nolan. Bounces to Giroux. And the Flyers carry up. Giroux goes rink wide, but Shen can't catch up to that. 7.5 remaining in the second period. Flyers hoping that those two penalties didn't change the momentum of this game around. The momentum seems to have gone to LA's favor here of late. Flyers trying to turn that back around as Simmons gets to Raffle, and he'll deposit the puck deep into Los Angeles ice. Laguerre dropping it off. Doughty starts back. Lou Doughty. Shifting his way through center. Lost it at the line. The play is now offside. Flyers will get to it. They look for the stretch pass. Find Raffle. And Raffle just sends it deep. Time for a change for Michael. He'll head off the ice. Now it's Toffoli. Pass on the tape for King. King swinging wide to left wing. Could not get the shot off as Coburn got to him. Work free. Schultz races after. Doughty in from the point. Schultz chops it past him out to the neutral zone. Rick Muzzin has it there. Now to Foley. Head Manning to Doughty. Doughty waits. A shot, weak one, jabbed away by Mason ahead to Ronaldo. Ronaldo turning back into some pressure. Able to get it around the boards, and then Schultz furthers it to the neutral zone. Doesn't pass through center again. Tip to the Philadelphia line. King has it. King moving up, looking for Kopitar. Save Mason. Went through Kopitar, right in on goal, and Mason able to get it. Maybe Kopitar tipped it. Mason had the answer either way. Now the Flyers dump it deep into the Los Angeles zone. It's McNabb. A delayed offside here against Philadelphia, and they call it as Reed was still in there. 5:54 to go in the second.
Welcome back to LA. Let's take a look at our Wells Fargo great check of the game. And the recipient here is Scotty Lawton, Jake Muzzin. gets him hemmed in on the board. That's a great hit right there for the Wells Fargo check of the game. And Scotty Laughton has played a very good hockey game, which leads us to our Geico quote of the hockey game. And Craig Berube talking about Scott Laughton, his grit, his confidence. Guys, I think he has done a tremendous job here so far, Laughton. Believing in himself, making the organization and the hierarchy believe in him. And that's, you can see Craig Berube's Geico quote of the game. I think he certainly has worked his way into a full-time roster spot in this team.
And you can see it now, the confidence continuing to grow with a couple of assists. Now Wayne Simmons starting to get his game going, and Laughton would be well served in sending the puck Simmons' way right now. You can tell he's starting to really heat up.
Kings moving through center here. They tip it beyond Grossman. Carter reaching for it. Centers in, it's loose. And finally pops back out to Regehr. Regehr, a wrist shot. Gets caught up in traffic in the slot area. And might have been underneath strike for a moment. Finally, the whistle blows. Might have been underneath strike for a while. But they finally did get the whistle.
Mark Streit did a good job in protecting that puck between his legs there. And the all-for-one deal, the Flyers all-for-one deal includes a ticket to the game plus an all-you-can-eat menu with beverages starting at $88. Tuesday, December the 16th will also include an appearance by recent Hockey Hall of Fame inductee Peter Forsberg. Get tickets at PhiladelphiaFlyers.com.
Peter Forsberg, a special guest appearance.
That's awesome. Forward to that.
Draw here to the right of Mason. Giroux getting a chuckle. Earlier it was Jeff Carter chuckling. I think he appreciated Mark Streit's shell game routine in the slot.
He did not.
Stole here. And Giroux on it cleanly back to Del Zotto. Del Zotto to the boards up the middle. He's got Voracek. Nice pass to Raffl. Brings the line and then flings in on a quick easy save there. The puck to Stoll, who tips to the middle. And it's Brown. It's been Brown swinging wide to the left wing, and then the shot. Mason was ready. Just look to make the save. Voracek comes away with the puck. To the right side. McDonald ahead. One tipped high in the air and then over the stick. No Doughty at the red line. He goes back to get to it. 4:45 remaining in this second period. Another pop fly into the Philadelphia zone. Lozano for Giroux. Passed him out to the neutral zone. Right there is Green. To McNabb and now off Lewis into the Philadelphia zone. Donald takes a hit. Del Zotto as well. Kings getting in on the forecheck here with vigor. Clifford batting on a centering pass and then being taken right to the line with it. Giroux just trying to tuck it out to the neutral zone. He did. The Kings will go back and get it. Lewis has it. Flyers would like to spend some time in the offensive zone here, though, since those two penalties. But mostly the Kings pressing the action.
Kings are feeling it now since the offensive players have a chance to really handle the puck on those power plays, and the Flyers have to start to make some really intelligent plays here at this juncture of the game. They've let a couple games slip away this week that they've had opportunities to make smart plays and have been unable to deliver. Here they're going to have to do that against a Kings team that smells blood.
Offside the call there. We'll be back. Special night Thursday in Minnesota as the Lester Patrick Trophy winners were announced and presented as Paul Holmgren and Bill Daly. Bill Daly, of course, from the National Hockey League. Paul Holmgren, president of the Flyers, winning their awards for service to hockey in the United States. Paul Holmgren certainly very happy.
In fact, quite a few people from the Flyers organization, Ed Snyder and Bob Clark and Freddie Shero, Keith Allen. So, as I said earlier, someone those guys in Philadelphia set the bar very high. I feel honored to be part of this tonight and be receiving this award.
Well, deserved honor for Paul Holmgren, who cares so much about hockey in this country and has done so much for it. So congratulations to Paul Holmgren. By the way, celebrated a birthday a little earlier on this week as well.
Happy birthday to Holmgren.
Indeed. It's a nice birthday present for him right there.
Big week for Paul Holmgren.
Yes.
Sure was.
There's Streit with a right wing feed. Now in front, that one off the stick. But wide of the net as the Flyers do spend some time in the offensive zone. Ronaldo here. On the corner. What about his check to Couturier. After the puck, it'll bounce down and Mason will set it up for Streit. It's down to 3 minutes remaining in this second period. Muzzin settles the puck. These Flyers are making player changes, and now Doughty to Muzzin, and then off a stick into the Philadelphia zone. Grossman is back for it and drop it off. Mr. Couturier could not tip that past Doughty. Stays with it, and with some help, Umberger got the puck out of the zone and down the ice. Now Umberger on another forecheck here as he's in on Doughty. Give him a body check. Carter trying to get away from Reed. Does find Kopitar. Kopitar's pass in the skates of Muzzin, but he did well to find it, and then a great pass, and the Kings move up. But here's Kopitar. Kopitar with a shot. Glove save. Mason made it look easy.
Mason's done a lot of that in this one. Kopitar with that shot attempt. Let's take a look at our Independence Blue Cross fearless play of the game. And who else? Steve Mason uses his mass there. Any part of the body that he can get in the way of pucks. He's used it today. This time he used his head there, and luckily has a nice protective mask in front of him. That has to rattle you a little bit. Mason shook it right off and came up with 3 or 4 quick saves right after that.
Yeah, since making that save, he's made several glove saves, and he's looked very sharp in doing so. A lot of times you can tell how sharp a goalie is, but whether or not he's able to make those glove saves and hang right on to him. They bounce out, in and out of that glove. Sometimes the sign he's not with it. Here's Carter swooping in the shot. Save Mason. He kicks it out of there. And then Pearson had a crack at it, but couldn't line the puck up. Now Voracek sends Giroux the other way. Giroux 1-on-2, could not maneuver through, and Carter comes up with the puck. This pass for Kopitar, and now Doughty. Doughty picking up speed, but offside is the call. Kopitar apparently beating him into the zone.
Speed kind of the name of the game for the Kings right now here in the last 8 or 10 minutes, and without Steve Mason coming up with big saves, it'd be a different story on the scoreboard right now. There's Carter with his speed, and Mason covers the lower portion of that there and kicks that pad across to get it out of danger. Original save there, and then the quick kick before the Kings could pounce on the rebound. It was Tanner Pearson coming in looking for that puck.
There's trying to get to the intermission here with this 2-goal lead. See that the Kings have taken over in terms of shots on goal here in the second. Mason will play this puck off a skate. Donald lifting it backhand through center and down the ice. It's rolling on its edge, but will go in on goal, so no icing. And then Justin Williams is across. McNabb head off of Brown deep into the Philadelphia zone. Delzato trying to protect the puck. They stole away from it, but Williams follows up. He's checked by Simmons, who got hit hard there, and then Brown is going to go off his stick and out of place. Simmons not happy. He was right back after Justin Williams, and they have to be separated.
Good job by Simmons there, and Williams not one to shy away. He'll fight for his space, and he's done a terrific job here for the LA Kings. There's the battle along the wall there. Williams and Simmons having some contact there. Williams taking Simmons in low to the boards there, and Simmons gives him a little stick and a cross check to make sure that he lets him know it's not something that's going to go unnoticed.
Former King, former Flyer.
Yes.
Nose to nose.
Two guys that play the game the right way. Williams jumps back out there for Daryl Sutter. Simmons heads over to the Flyer bench.
Faceoff comes out to center ice. 1:22 remaining here in the period. Flyers win the draw. It's Couturier. Wilson had that puck roll on him, but a bit ahead. Sent right back in by Williams. That's straight. Check. Got it to Umberger. Back to straight. Pivot. And then Williams knocks down his pass. Justin Williams to Brown, centering off Grossman, sticks the loose off of Stoll to the corner. And Reed and Stoll. Now Grossman takes a hit from Brown, is really picking up the intensity of this period. And he takes right into the boards heavily. Grossman to the puck, backhands it through Brown and out through center.
Smart play there by Grossman to alleviate some of the pressure, and will allow Mark Streit, his defensive partner, the chance to get to the bench and get off the ice. Streit with the little leg weary.
Lewis played it ahead. Grossman back in his zone, but did play it out to the neutral zone. And now it's Muzzin on the red line and in. Final 23 seconds of the period. Over in his check. Giroux threw it the other way. We're here waiting for that. A little flutter ball shot that's kicked out of there by Coburn. Regehr kept it in, sent it back around behind the Philadelphia net. Grossman ties up Lewis. In comes Raffl. Michael Raffl with speed kicks it out of there, but then into some traffic. 4 seconds. Flyers get it out to center ice. And the second period will come to an end. A lot of pressure from the Kings, but the only goal of the period belongs to the Flyers. Mason was terrific. And Wayne Simmonds spots his 11th of the year. It's 2-0 Philadelphia with now 40 minutes in the books. Today's Flyers-Kings second period was brought to you by Mazda. Mazda is KBB.com's lowest cost-to-own brand over 5 years. By the Pennsylvania Lottery, tonight's Powerball jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $50 million. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. Players must be 18 years or older. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance.
Now,
Chris Therien is downstairs with Wayne Simmonds.
thanks very much, Jimmy. Simmer, a lot has been has been made lately about second line scoring and getting opportunities. You feel you're coming around right now? You've had a lot of chances in the last couple of games.
Yeah, I think the team as a whole is starting to come around. Obviously, we're out on this long road trip, and we got no choice but to bond together. And I think we've been doing a better job. Obviously, I think those couple penalties in the middle of the period took us off our game here, but we got to go in the dressing room, regroup, and come out strong in the third.
Kind of a little 2-on-1 you ended up having with Brayden Schenn. Tell us about that goal and exactly what happened.
Yeah, they made a good play. Coots made a good play and into the middle, and we were just driving the net, and I just thought I'd try to fire our net as quick as possible. Quick's a good goalie, so the quicker you get the shot off, the more chance you have to score.
Simmer, good luck in the third.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Wayne Simmonds, the Flyers to a 2-goal advantage. Intermission Live is up next. John Bourque, Al Morganti, their analysis right after these messages. Today's third period on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by your Philadelphia Super Network Buick GMC dealers and by Cure Insurance. Drive well. A little feisty there in the second period. Through 40 minutes, the Flyers with a 2-0 lead. Here are the numbers, courtesy of Rothman Institute at Jefferson.
The block shots stand out. LA's been in the Flyers zone an awful lot here in the last 20 minutes or so, and you can see the shots or block shots tell that story.
Wayne Simmonds, his 11th goal of the year from Couturier and McDonald. The only goal that second period. Last 8 chances of that period belong to Los Angeles. Well, let's look back at our Timberland. Hard hits like the San Jose. That was a physical game at times. Flyers getting in some big hits out in San Jose. Rock taking one there. And then tonight, or today at least, almost is tonight back home, right?
It is.
Very much the afternoon here, though, in Los Angeles. And expect some more hits, I think, here in the third. Flyers trying to pick up a road win. They have not won on the road since winning in Pittsburgh in late October, and they have a 2-goal lead. Kings, very difficult to beat here at Staples Center. They're tied for the NHL lead in points and wins on home ice this season. Flyers trying to accomplish something pretty special here today in LA. Here is Carter trying to move it ahead. It's knocked down by Reed. Reed gets it back into the Los Angeles zone. He's all by himself, so he'll just push the puck deeper. Muzzin back to get it for Los Angeles. Quickly ahead to Carter. Big wide feed. Pearson. And he'll send it diagonally into the Philadelphia zone. Grossman gets his stick on it. Carter and Kopitar there. Kopitar's pass tipped back to him, and now he'll go across ice, and that's read beautifully by Raffl. He pushes the puck ahead and gets to it. Raffl moving up. Raffl and Check never got a shot off. He's still after it behind the net as Regehr finally did get him off the puck, but the Flyers are back on it. Giroux's pass intercepted. Here's Dustin Brown the other way. The Kings captain will drop it back. Williams shot. And that skips wide. Back out to Martinez. And behind the Philadelphia net. The other side of the ice. Giroux deposits Stoll onto the ice and then gets the puck back to Grossman. That pass out is intercepted. Stoll a shot. And it's pinned by Mason to his body, and he'll take the face-off at his own zone.
We just showed our Timberland hard hits, and we have one to add to it. Claude Giroux there on Jared Stoll. Michael Raffel doing a nice job defensively, though, covering the points and then using his speed to get the puck up the ice and keep it in deep. And then Claude Giroux doing his best Peter Forsberg, throwing the hit there just before the puck arrives and knocking 28 and black down in Jared Stoll.
One of the things they want to do, fellas, talking to the assistant coaches between periods, is eliminate more of the D-zone turnovers. And LA keeps it in. That's where they wear teams down. The Flyers want to keep that puck coming out of the zone with authority and smartness.
Well, they get it out right here, and Lawton will get it as far as the Los Angeles line. Muzzin knocked it down. Toffoli gets it back to the Kings defenseman. Muzzin also got a contract extension earlier on this season. Now Doughty around Braden Shen, flips one wide of Mason into the corner. Right, King checked by McDonald. Simmons trying to dig it free, and he did, but he was checked by Muzzin before he get out of the zone. Now it's moved ahead. And somebody will gain control here. It'll be Toffoli. Back in front of his own net for Drew Doughty. Doughty handing off, and it's backhanded in by Trevor Lewis. Elzado to McDonald. Now Ronaldo forced by McNabb. Puck popped free, and that shot handled easily by Mason as Lewis didn't get much on it. And another face-off in the Philadelphia zone gives us a chance to look at some of the Twitter shots. Talked about the effort finally showing in the scoreboard. The Wayne train seems to be here again, and one more period. A little less than that now. 17:42.
The Simmons comment is very accurate, and that's got to make Craig Berube feel a little bit better starting to get that second line going. He's tried a bunch of different combinations, but this one seems to be sticking with Scott Lawton in the middle and Braden Shen on the left side.
There's Braden Coburn, who will move the puck to Schultz, and then off of Giroux deep into the Los Angeles zone. Flyers will change. They're getting it in the forecheck, at least some of the players. Belmar and Vandevelde were combining there. Matt Green will drop it back to McNabb. And now it's Clifford. The red line and in. Bounce all around. Flyers have a little time here as the Kings were changing. Schultz ahead. And Reed will send it in. The Flyers want to go get it. Downey will get to Muzzin. Flips it ahead. And he's got Pearson, who was checked by Couturier, but it slides through to Kopitar. He's poke check, making the play offside. Delayed call. Flyers have time here. Reed will take it all the way back behind his net. Things have retouched, but the Flyers move ahead with speed. Here's Couturier. Knifing his way in. Couturier knocked to his knees, gets back up, still has the puck. But his pass back to Streit is intercepted. Pearson, a beeline for the Philadelphia zone. Pearson to the outside, centered it. Jabbed away calmly by Grossman. He's get it back. Kopitar to the slot, lost it there, and Streit will pop it out of the zone.
Couturier trying to move that puck to the point. You've got to be 100% sure against this LA Kings team here in the third period. LA with a transition game, and the D are looking to jump up and join the rush.
Doughty almost looks like he's playing forward here over the last 10 minutes or so of this game.
He does. And every time LA breaks out of the zone, one defenseman's jumping up trying to push the pace.
Dustin Brown protecting the puck and getting it back to Martinez. Martinez will deal to Regier. Regier's shot. Save Mason. Rebound. Stoll. And they score. Stoll is in there. Justin Williams there. The Kings get a rebound past Mason. They're on the board. It's a one-goal game, 2-1.
Justin Williams is going to get the rebound attempt. Jared Stoll jams it towards the net. And the Kings' third line has been their best line of late. Williams with a couple of whacks at it there. Stoll taps one there, and there's Williams to find it. Mason flings his stick at that puck and just can't get enough of it after a couple of more saves by Mason.
Justin Williams has that puck. Follow him around, though. Guys, I'll tell you what, I mean, he's around the puck all the time, especially down around the net. And with a couple of rebound efforts, Willie finally gets that last one and is able to go.
His 6th of the year, and he has had an knack for scoring against the Flyers since moving away from Philadelphia. Flyers coming right back. Here's Lawton. Lawton the shot. Save. Quick rebound. Braden Shen saved. Lawton out the other side. Tried to get it to Simmons, but it was intercepted. Kept in by McDonald. And out. Delzado shot deflection. And that one fought off by Quick as Lawton got his stick on that. Good response from the Flyers here. Their best pressure. And quite some time in this game. Right after the Kings scored, here's Braden Shen fighting off Richards. Braden Shen out the other side. Finally was Richards poking it away. The other way go the Kings, sending one in from center. Foley did, and Mason grabs a hold of that. He'll take the face off. Gives us a chance to give you the answer to today's Jeep Trivia question of the game. We asked what is the NHL record for how many games played in a season. It was actually 86 games, held by two former Kings, Jimmy Carson and Bob Kudelski. They were obviously traded, played some games with one team, played some with another, and ended up playing 86 games in one season.
It used to be 84 games in a couple of seasons, right, with the neutral site games?
Right.
Mid-90s, early
Probably,
90s.
yeah, both of those players are around back then.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. Here's Voracek, spilled, has to get back up. Raffle in there as well. He's spun to the ice. It's Doughty controlling to Clifford. We passed the 5-minute mark of this third period. It is 2-1. Clifford for Nolan. Nolan walking in front, centering pass, intercepted by Raffle, who clears. It's icing, but a great defensive play by Michael Raffle.
Nick Grossman had lost his stick, and Michael Raffle makes a great decision to get back down low and help out his defenseman. There's the stick of Grossman flying in the air, and Raffle puts his stick in that passing lane as Clifford was trying to sneak around to the back door. Drew Doughty was also coming in on the play. Good contact from Grossman, and then Raffle makes a terrific defensive play with his stick there.
Yeah, if you just go back to the front of the net, and again, that's the hockey smarts of Michael Raffle. That puck will come to you. If you're patient, you stay disciplined in it, that puck will come back to you, but you got to be able to get back there and have your wits about you. Great play by Raffle.
Giroux unable to win that. Droid 110 of his last 11 defensive zone draws. McNabb, a shot, save. Mason, big rebound. It's right there to clear, but again, it will be icing against Philadelphia.
See the game plan there. You can host your annual holiday party at a Flyers game. Purchase a ticket for 12 to 50 guests and enjoy a full catering package. One autographed puck per guest and one autographed Flyers jersey. Call 215-389-9500. And looks like we've got a timeout being called here.
Craig Berube has utilized his timeout. Talking to Michael Raffle right now and trying to organize his troops as well as give them a little rest after another icing call.
Well, let's take a look at our Hyundai save of the game. Jeff Carter comes in here, quick play, down low, tried to get that far side, and Mason was able to get the leg skate down just on the far side. That's a difficult save to make on a very dangerous shot. That is the Hyundai save of the game.
Mason has been very good in this game, 27 saves. The Flyers control the puck and move it to center ice. Here is Carter turning with it. He'll deal to Kopitar. Drops it back. Pearson will push it further. And now the Flyers have it. Here's Reed charging to center ice. And Reed will send one in. Quick, bats it away. Around behind the net, Couturier. Couturier to the point. Schultz will keep it in. Send it back deep into the Los Angeles zone. Kings have nearly doubled the Flyers in shots, 28-15. The Flyers have doubled the Kings in goals. 3-1. Backhanded in, here's Reed. Shoved to the wall by McNabb. Over comes Umberger to send it toward the net. Went off a stick. It is played by Stoll. He's checked. The Flyers able to get to it. Umberger. Back behind the net it goes. Matt Green will track it down. Veteran defenseman starts back. Passes ahead. Williams moving to the slot. To the backhand. It dribbles just wide. Now he centers it. And that's pushed to the wall by the Flyers. That was too easy for Justin Williams as the seas sort of parted. Now McNabb, given time, takes the shot. And Mason's going to gather that one and take the whistle. 2-1 Flyers in the third.
Flyers up by 1 here in LA. The Flyers lost a real big Flyer fan suddenly at the age of 26. Joe Spear passed away just a couple of days ago in San Diego. He had tickets for this game, and his two friends came to the game and put a shirt over Joe's seat. He was a big-time Flyer fan. I met him about 8 or 9 years ago, and his father Gordon and the Spear family get our condolences. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. And the Flyers try to get a win here in LA in memory of Joe.
Yeah, services for him today. So certainly this would be a win for him if they can hang on here. A 2-1 game. Over 7 minutes into the third period. From for the puck. Wayne Simmonds doing the work. Justin Williams. They've been together in battles all afternoon long. Regier kept it in. Twisted down low by Stoll to Brown. Brown centered off Mason, and it bounces all the way out to Lawton. There was another Flyer without a stick there. I believe it was Nick Schultz. Lawton moves up. Headed for Simmonds. He's taken in by Regier. Somebody said he's still got a lot of friends on this team, but you wouldn't be able to tell by the way this game has gone. He's been punished a couple times, and he's certainly done his share of punishing as well.
And that's what his friends would expect.
I don't think Regier is one of his teammates, former
That's
teammates,
right.
But
that one set off of Quick right out in front. Here is Mike Richards the other way. They say it's onside. They'll roll it along. The angle tried there by Toffoli was nullified. And now it's played ahead. Tipped to the line, but not out. Kept in. Look out. This is dangerous. Toffoli. Toffoli, the angle shot. Say Mason the other side. Tried to center. It bounces to the slot. And then is cleared out of the zone and down the ice.
Cleared by an LA King forward. I think it was Mike Richards tried to move that puck back to the point, so no icing on the play. And the Flyers have a chance to try to slow down the Kings on this exit out of the zone.
But they come charging right back in. Lewis's shot in the glove. Save made by Mason. And then some pushing and shoving in front.
The Flyers will take on the New Jersey Devils this Thursday, December the 11th. It's a 7 o'clock game. Then they will face off against the Carolina Hurricanes next Saturday, December the 13th. A 1 o'clock start. All kids 14 and under will receive a kids goalie mask at the December the 13th afternoon game against the Hurricanes. And that goalie mask there of Steve Mason has been busy here in this one.
Good one going here in LA. We welcome in the viewers watching in Comcast Sportsnet California and also Rogers Sportsnet around Canada. We've seen a good hockey game here. Flyers trying to end their road woes against one of the best home teams in the NHL. There's Green. He will stop that puck out to center and then back in. So the Kings have to retouch, and they have. As the Flyers have the puck. Otto moves it ahead. Sent it deep into the Los Angeles end. Hoffman trying to get to it. Lozado backhands. Voracek reaching for it. Green steps into him. Clifford couldn't clear it cleanly. Voracek has it again. It's McNabb. Let it tie him up. Voracek holding him off. Flyers are changing defensemen, so he didn't have anywhere to go there when you look back to the blue line. The puck makes its way to Giroux, who sent it back around behind the net to Voracek. Voracek trying to stuff it in. Save, rebound into the blue paint. Finally Quick able to gather it. And then some more late pushing and shoving as the intensity level continues to ramp up.
One of the first times in the last while that the confrontations have happened in front of that guy, Jonathan Quick. The Flyers doing a good job of getting the puck in deep. Voracek with a couple of jam plays in around the net. Giroux and Braden Coburn coming in looking for the loose puck.
let's take a look at our Toyota turning point of this hockey game. It ends up being the second goal, insurance goal to this point. Wayne Simmonds dips one, goes 5-hole on Jonathan Quick. And that right now stands as the winning goal in this hockey game. Wayne Simmonds with the Toyota turning point.
Kings have 11 shots on goal in this period. Period is not even half over yet. They've been pouring pucks toward Mason. One's gone in. Flyers have 16 shots for the game. Looking to establish some offensive zone time, but can't. Here's Pearson will move up. In the middle, Kopitar. Kopitar's shot off the glove of Mason into the slot, back in and high by Pearson. He's got it back though behind the net. Changing directions, getting some space. Rips it out. Doughty to Pearson and now Muzzin. Doughty switched sides. His shot is blocked. He gets it back. They're set up in the offensive zone. Kopitar sent one in that ricocheted off of Mason. The Kings certainly smelling it right now.
They are, and you can see how aggressive their D become, especially number 8 in black. Drew Doughty continues to jump up there and create offensive chances. Here the Flyers fortunate it wasn't icing, so they're able to change the entire unit.
Kings moving in. Here's Williams. Williams check. Still got a shot off and went wide. Now Brown back out. Regehr. A shot deflected and goes wide. Simmons to the puck. Kings quickly get to him and take it away. Williams back. Regehr. One bounces, and now you got a penalty coming up. An interference call in front. The Kings had the puck. I believe the penalty is on Los Angeles. Flyers about to go to the power play because of this play. Stoll knocks down Nick Schultz. So the Flyers to the man advantage. But first, let's get a preview of the post-game show. Send you back to Philadelphia to John Bork.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jimmy. Al Morganti will join me on set. We'll break down all the storylines from today's play at the Staples Center. Plus, we'll go back out to L.A. here from the players and get Craig Berube's comments, and we'll see how those standout stars are holding up as well. For now, let's send it back out to the Staples Center in L.A. Jim Jackson, Keith Jones, Chris Therien with more.
Well, we ready ourselves for a Philadelphia power play here, and the Flyers trying to turn the momentum of the game back in their favor.
One of LA's best penalty killers again in the box for the second time in this game, and the Flyers will try to take advantage of it. Giroux's been a busy man on draws. He's won a bunch of them in the defensive zone. He'll try to win an important one here to start the power play.
Giroux, Simmons, Schenn up front. Strike, Voracek on the points. Kopitar, Giroux on this face-off. Giroux wins it cleanly back to Voracek. Across for strike. Immediately set up. Giroux. With Schenn and then out to strike. Cross Voracek. And he tried to get that into the slot, but it wasn't there, and the Kings clear all the way down.
Voracek tried to force that one in the middle of the box, and Robin Regehr had his leg down in perfect position to keep it away.
He spent a career blocking passes and shots like that. Voracek jams this one off the boards into the Los Angeles zone. Simmons will grab it, knock it down, and play it back to Voracek. Across for strike. Now Giroux in heavy traffic. Get back to strike. 1:18 on the power play. Giroux, something toward the net. And Doughty blocks that and then gathers and clears.
Right idea, getting it towards Wayne Simmons, who's at the hot hand, but not enough on that shot attempt by Claude Giroux. Doughty handled it easily and sent it all the way down.
Strike winding it in. On the wall, they battle. It's 2-on-2, now 3-on-2. Flyers outnumbered. Now the Kings make it 3-on-3. The puck high in the air, gloves, back and out to the point it goes. Delzato flipping one, deflected but bounced back to the corner. So back up, Delzato keeps it in, and now Reed has it. To Couturier. Couturier takes it back. Half-minute remaining on the power play. Tried to slide that one through, but an off the stick, and now Green will clear.
3 times in this Flyers power play, they've tried to make difficult passes through the body of the box, and the LA Kings have been in good position to knock those pucks down and force the Flyers to regroup.
Here's a rink-wide feed for Voracek. He is stood up just inside the line. Back out to center goes the puck, and the power play just about over. Stoll out of the box right now. Back to full-strength hockey. 7:10 remaining third period. 2-1 Flyers. That hit the referee. Regehr is right there. Cross ice pass deflects. Coburn back to get it. Pearson right on him. Coburn will swat it around to Schultz. Schultz chips it out to center ice. Flyers will change as Doughty is back. It does seem as though he's out there the entire game. He only plays half of it.
Kind of Pronger like the way he's such an economy of motion. That's part of the reason he can stay out there for those long shifts.
Yeah.
He doesn't,
Ryan Suter, same kind of thing.
They don't overextend themselves. They're just such intelligent players that know when to go and when to back it down.
That puck out of play, so the face-off back in the neutral zone. Flyers will wrap up this road trip in Columbus on Tuesday night against the Blue Jackets. The Jackets banged up, trying to recover from a tough start. Our coverage begins with Flyers pregame live at 6:30. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock from Nationwide Arena. And then the Flyers will actually be home for a spell. Where is home?
You know what, guys? You talked about Drew Doughty. He reminds me more of a Scott Niedermayer than he does of anybody else. The way he gets up offensively, he can be in the corner, back on the blue line, but stays out there and he's able to conserve his energy.
Battle for the puck in the Philadelphia zone. Kopitar wrapped up. Carter in there digging away. Nobody can come away with it cleanly. Finally, Umberger does flick it out to the neutral zone. Now Martinez backhands, but Reed cuts it off. Quickly back into the Los Angeles zone, but right to McNabb. Flyers trying to change the pass. That is to Clifford. Happy to Kopitar. He is checked. Coburn on the backhand ahead to Voracek. He's stepped into by Muzzin. Voracek not digging away. Muzzin trying to keep him away from it. Now it's Coburn gaining control. Flyers will move up. Schultz from the red line right into the Los Angeles zone. 5:37 on the third period clock. Long rink wide feed for King. Off a stick, makes it through to Toffoli for a shot that's blocked. Sat in the slot, fires it there. Voracek turned it over to Doughty. Doughty cross ice. They try to get it back in front to Foley. It's broken up, and Giroux will just butt it out through the neutral zone and head off on a change.
Well done by Michael Del Zotto, and another turnover by the Flyers. Got to be a lot more careful in and around their own blue line. The Kings are looking to pounce.
Now Lawton forces a turnover in center. Got the puck to Shen. Braden Shen cutting to the middle. Shot was knocked aside. Bounces back up. McDonald will take a shot. Blocked. And now it's a 3-on-2 the other way. Flyers trying to get back. Lawton trying to even things up, and he will. The Kings move up. The cross-ice pass for Richards is knocked down as he went to take a shot. And they're going to call a penalty. Slashing will be the call. The Flyers shorthanded when we return. These Flyers Kings game is brought to you by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Bud Light, the perfect beer for whatever happens. And by Wells Fargo, together we'll go far.
Well, Wayne Simmons is the Philadelphia Flyer heading to the box here with under 5 minutes to go, and he came back. Mike Richards looked like he was jumping to the inside. Simmer got the stick on Richie. A little slash right there. I don't like the call at this time of the game, guys, but again, what the referee saw, and the Flyers are going to have to make a huge kill here.
Power play number 4 for the Kings. Flyers win the defensive zone draw and clear. They have done a great job on those defensive zone draws, Giroux in particular. Couturier as well. Kings move up. Kopitar steps around a player, centers it in front. Carter could not make contact as he tried to redirect it home. Carter's got it now, though, out to the point. And they're set up. Doughty touch pass Carter. Carter with a shot. Ricochets all the way through on the block. Now Muzzin trying to center, but it goes right to Couturier. And he clears it all the way down, and it caught the inside part of that glass by the Kings bench.
The curved glass right there. Even though the puck continued on into the LA zone, it is an icing call on the Flyers, or at least the face-off comes back where icing would be.
I was afraid that
short-handed.
I thought it was going to go over the glass. I thought that's what happened from down in my angle, but it was just the glass.
But instead of a clear, the face-off to the left of Mason. And the puck will be controlled by the Kings. Martinez looking for a seam. Martinez all the way around, backhander, denied by Mason. Martinez out the other side, finds the puck again, and gets it to Williams. Justin Williams, back along. Martinez looking in the middle, back across ice, and a great play by Giroux to get his stick on it, but he cannot clear the zone as he lunged for it. It's Williams, touch pass, Brown across for Martinez. They'll wind up in blast, blocked shot, and that was Raffl. With that style of his, he said an injury earlier this year, blocking a shot with that style, but he's sticking to it.
He has had a huge defensive third period for the Flyers, and look for him to get back on the ice in a hurry for Craig Berube.
35 seconds remaining in the power play. Williams gets the puck in. Back out. Muzzin was able to keep it in. Right back to Williams. And now it's Muzzin again. Across Doughty. Winds. Fires. And that hit Stoll, I think, in front of Mason. One or the other. It stayed out. And now Brown back out. Muzzin shot. Deflected. Save Mason. And Umberger fired it up and out of play. If it went above the bench, this could be a penalty. Did it go in the bench or above the bench? I could not see.
Flyers bench is claiming it did not, and all 4 officials on the ice will congregate to make sure they get the right decision. They'll look to see if any individual official saw it, and you can see they've got some confused looks on their face. They will not call it if they didn't see it. And the Flyers could catch a break in that regard as Umberger heads over the bench. The puck is rolling. He tries to slap it down the ice. And difficult to tell. Maybe a Flyer stick might have touched it before it left, which would be a really smart play for someone on the bench.
Yeah. Well, if it hit a player's stick on the bench and then went out of play, it should not be a penalty.
And that's what the Flyer bench is arguing. But the
call's going to get made, I think, guys.
Yep.
RJ's going to the box.
Wow. So the Flyers will be down 2 men. Simmons still time to serve. 13 seconds remaining on his, and then obviously if they don't score in those 13, they're right back to a 5-on-4 for an extended period, and they can pull a goaltender as well. Right now 5-on-3, they win the draw. Across ice it goes. Carter, the shot missed the target, and that goes all the way down the ice on its own. Oh, you can't miss the net from there. That takes care of the 2-man disadvantage. Simmons races across to the bench. Flyers now in a 5-on-4. We'll watch and see if Quick heads toward the bench for the Kings. With now 2:40 remaining on the 3rd period clock. Here's Coburn, skying one down the ice. Now let's skip all the way to Quick. Sets it up for Doughty. Drew Doughty with the crowd supporting the Kings fully now to Kopitar. Snaps it around to the other side, all the way out to the point. There you have it, and they're set up. Here's Mike Richards. To Doughty, and now Richards. Richards looking in the middle. His pass across, hit a body, bounces free, and it's Couturier getting to it. He'll skate it out to center, take a look around, and then just feather it into the Los Angeles zone. Minute remaining on the power play. Couturier steals the puck behind the Los Angeles net. Tried to occupy that puck as long as he could. Great job by Sean Couturier. Now the Kings move up. Quick not looking at the bench as the Kings continue on. Here's Muzzin. Muzzin dropping it back. Williams across ice. Martinez. Back to Muzzin. Holding on, side of the net pass. Dustin Brown takes a look. Flyers trying to keep it to the outside. Muzzin across. Shot Martinez. Blocked in front. Martinez another try is blocked. Coburn a chance to clear. Could not. He's dumped. Penalty. Penalty upcoming against Los Angeles. Now Stoll and Raffle get all tangled up. You don't want to take another penalty here if you're the Flyers, obviously, as you're about to nullify what was left of the Kings power play. 23 seconds remaining on the Umberger minor.
Coburn has made a couple of really sound defensive plays here on the PK. Here he hustles to get to that puck. Williams takes him down with the stick across the midsection there, and then Raffle and Stoll ended up coming together. Flyers PK has been outstanding in this game. Mason's had his share of saves, but Schultz with a block shot there. Mason steering through the traffic, grabbed that one. Went post to post here as Carter just missed one. More traffic to the front of the net, more battles in front. And Schultz and Coburn have been involved in a lot of them. And here's the last penalty kill with some primetime offensive zone opportunities for the LA Kings. Mason and the PK find a way to get the job done.
5 for 5. And now it's 4-on-4 hockey with Stoll getting the gate for the Kings. And of course the Kings will still try to get Quick to the bench in favor of an extra attacker. 1:26 remaining. The Flyers try to preserve victory here in Los Angeles. Last year they won in this building, getting heavily outshot. They're trying to do it all over again. And the Kings win the draw. They control the puck. Move up. Quick following his team up the ice. Kopitar sends it in. Quick to the bench. Extra attacker on for the Kings. Grossman got that puck to Couturier. Up the wall. Reed. Not enough of it to get it to the neutral zone. Taken there by Carter. Carter for Kopitar. And back into the Philadelphia zone. Grossman will play it for Couture, but he's checked by Kopitar. Kopitar's pass tipped away. Reed to it. Empty net at the other end. Reed to the red line will backhand, and it goes wide as Doughty was getting back. 48 seconds remaining. The Flyers penalty, of course, is over. Straight backhanding. That's cut off. Now here's Muzzin. Muzzin blasting from center. Save. Mason left the puck right out in the slot. Straight is there. He'll clear it all the way down toward the empty net and off the post. Off the goal post. Half-minute remaining. King still breathing. Doughty to Kopitar. Kopitar. Check. The puck bounces into the slot. Simmons will play it off the glass. Raffl moving up. Raffl to center. Nice little pass, but Giroux could not hang on. One last push by the Kings. They are onside, they say. Carter's shot deflected wide. Simmons to it. 8 seconds. Simmons pushing it up the wall. Not out. A shot is blocked. And now without a stick, it's kicked out through center and down the ice by Raffl. And that will do it. At long last, the Flyers a road victory, their first since late October, as they hold off the Kings. Final score of 2-1. Steve Mason outstanding in this one as he made 37 saves, backstopping the Flyers to the win as they move to 8-1 in this building.
Standout star Steve Mason. He was outstanding in this game. He came up with numerous big-time saves. The LA Kings really brought the house from about the midway point of the second period on. And Mason gets a lot of hugs from his teammates. Well-deserved. Giroux started the scoring for the Flyers, picking up a nice goal on the rush, and his teammates find a way to get the job done. The PK was outstanding in this one. Let's take a look at our Mazda top shelf performers from this afternoon's game. Simmons, his team high 11th goal of the season. The PK 5 for 5. Mason 37 saves. Williams picked up his 6th. LA had a ton of offensive opportunities, and Quick was not a very busy man, and the Flyers found a way to get 2 pucks past him.
So the Flyers have been outshot in their last 2 visits to Staples Center, 73-23, and they've won both games mainly because of this guy.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Mason was seeing the puck well from the start of this game. He battled through traffic. He held on to a lot of pucks in and around his crease. He did a terrific job in his rebound control and looked like a pretty confident netminder. The Flyers needed that from their goaltender here. He provided it, and without him and those kick saves that he made, we're not talking about a Flyer victory here. Flyers sweep the Kings in the regular season series.
Hopefully Steve Mason has caught his breath because he is now downstairs with Chris Terrio.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jimmy. Mace, obviously, you know what, you guys come into this hockey game. It's the LA Kings. What's your thought process moving in?
You know it's going to be a hard game. The defending Stanley Cup champions. They have a great home record this season. They've got a lot of big bodies up front, and we knew that it was going to be a battle. And, you know, we didn't generate the shot total, but the guys were battling our own end, blocking shots. You know, our penalty killer did a really good job, and that's the type of effort in the D zone that we need to win hockey games.
Things started the other night against San Jose, and you brought them into Anaheim. Maybe weren't rewarded with the points you deserved. But do you think that maybe this is starting to turn around, obviously with a big win here today against the Kings?
Yeah, this isn't an easy Western trip to go on. You know, the time change takes a toll on you, and it takes a little bit to adjust. And you know, we look at the overall, you know, games that we played out here. We've done a really good job. You know, it was just disappointing to have the game end the way it did in San Jose. You know, we should have got at least 1 point out of it, but you know, we'll look at this as a pretty solid trip and look to carry it on Tuesday in Columbus.
Moved back home after for a 5-game homestand before hitting the road again. How important is that game against Columbus before you get that homestand?
We need to continue what we've built here in the last couple of games and make sure that we don't let it slip away. You know, we have 2 days until that game, but we got to make sure that, you know, we're building off of this and continuing to get better. The way the standings are and the way that, you know, the teams are playing in this league, you can't go on the kind of slide that we've just been on. You know, we got to start building ground, and you know, this was a good start.
Steve, had a great game today. Thanks very much for joining me.
All right, thank you.
Back to you guys.
Wayne Simmons also had another big game, 3 goals in the last 2 games for number 17. Terrific job from Simmons. Giroux picks up a goal in this one. The captain also very involved in the PK and the defensive zone faceoffs, and there's a group of happy campers as the Flyers find a way to get it done. Raffl getting some pats on the head there, well deserved. He was outstanding defensively in the 3rd period.
So again, the Flyers outshot 73-29 last 2 visits here, and they get 4 points out of it. Steve Mason, tremendous. Steve Mason perhaps will get a chance to play in Columbus on Tuesday. It'll be the Blue Jackets and the Flyers And we'll have that game for you with our coverage beginning at 6:30 from Nationwide Arena. Flyers wrapping up this 5-game trip. Intense game here today. The Flyers with a road win that they have been hoping for, end up 1-1-1 here in the state of California. Thanks again to our technical crew today. Producer for Flyers Hockey is Brian Cooper. Associate producer Beth Healy. And our director, Mike Mulligan. For Keith Jones and Chris Terry, and I'm Jim Jackson. Once again, the final score: the Flyers 2, the Kings 1. Stay tuned for Flyers post-game live presented by Cure Auto Insurance.